All right, I want to make a quick video just to kind of update you on what's been going on. It's a mess out here because I'm trying to get a better system for these worms. I can't remember how many worms I had or how many trays I had in the first video I put out, but I'm up to 6 bins now. You see, well, let me start over. 1 here, 2, 3, 4 that have worms in them. I've got 2 more with dirt that has been sifted, or a bag of topsoil that I sifted out. That's 1 bag sifted into 2 bins. So now it's time to get the worms out of these 2. I'm actually a little late. This one's ready. This one's ready now. This one was ready a week ago. As far as the worms are been in there for 3 weeks, and time to get the cocoons out. But as you can see, I've got a fan sitting there. The last time I sifted this, the dirt was so wet, it's just almost impossible to sift it. So I wanted to dry it out a little bit before I sift it. So it's been sitting here for, I don't know, a day and a half in front of this fan. Every now and then I come out here and stir it up. So I'm gonna try to sift that. I hope you can tell what this is. I think this is about 1/4 inch screen. I'm gonna sift, and then I've also got this bench I've had for a long time. I don't know if you can see, but it's got wheels underneath it. I cleaned all my stuff out because I want to build a rack for holding these bins. It's starting to get to the point where I got bins sitting around everywhere. I didn't want to have 2 structures, this bench and a rack, but it seems like a waste to get rid of this bench. So I cleaned everything out of it. I'm gonna make a shelving system with it. So I've got this tray here, and then I'll be able to have another one below it, and then I'm gonna be able to at least get 3. I think I can get 4 across. So I have 4 at the bottom, then I can put 4 above those, and then eventually I may even put 2 more shelving areas up above. And technically, as you can see, I could get 2 back to back, but that's where I'm at. Gonna sift. Oh, and I got some food. I'm gonna try to start coming up with a new, what do they call it? Chow or whatever. That is not what I meant to buy. I did not mean to buy whole corn. I grabbed the wrong stinking bag. So anyway, I've got this layer crumble. There was another bag of corn that was more broken down with some grains and all in it. I just grabbed the wrong bag, so I guess I'll throw that out for the deer, or in my case, the squirrels will eat it all. So I'm gonna see how this sifting goes. This dirt, I think, is easily gonna be ready to sift a worm. But this, it's getting better. It was where I couldn't even break it down, so maybe I can sift this with a little crunching up. I don't want to, I might be damaging cocoons by doing that though. I don't know. I'm gonna carry on. Okay, you can see after I've sifted this a little bit, it seems to be doing pretty good. I mean, there's some clumps, and I'm sure I'm gonna miss some cocoons, but these worms get stuck in it. But so I'll put the breeders back in there, and then in this bin there's a few little ones that have dropped through, but I'm just gonna let them stay. This is gonna mostly be cocoons, but these little teeny ones, they need some more time anyway. And if I see any with a little more size to them as I go, I'll take and put them over here in this breeder bin. But I'm just gonna keep sifting. This seems to be working a little better now that I let the bedding dry out some. So I'm gonna carry on. I wanna show you how far I'm kind of breaking this down. Doing this one-handed, so the camera's probably shaking too. That's about all I'm gonna do. I was worrying about getting all this stuff broke down, but I'm just gonna take these worms. See, a few big ones fell through. I might get those out. But I'm just gonna take and dump this. I don't think it's worth picking out. There are some, I don't know if you can tell, but there are some that get kind of caught up in here. I'll kind of help them on out. And then over here, I've got some, not many. There was more in that batch because I picked up a whole gob of worms. But I'm gonna take those. But anyway, I'm not gonna spend as much time breaking it all the way down. I figure if a few big ones fall in here and I miss them, no big deal. And I feel like if some of the small ones make it in here, no big deal. Because my breeder bins may be getting overpopulated anyway. So, anyway. So I started sifting. I got the first bin sifted. The first one I was talking about, that was a little drier. It went pretty good. I decided I would try this wet bin, but as I'm sifting, I'm just ending up with dirt balls, basically. Some of this stuff is really almost like mud. Not that. I've done stirred it back up, but some of it's like mud, and some of it is just hard. I'm afraid I'm gonna damage cocoons if I get in here and start breaking this down. So I'm really not sure what the answer is. Even if this dries out, it's turning into these, like this really dry dirt ball that I've still got to break open. And I don't know if there's a cocoon in there. I don't want to just mash them up. But anyway, if anybody's got any pointers or tips for me. And then it got me to thinking, this next bin, this one will be, let's see, this one will be the next one that reaches its full 12 weeks. And the soil or the bedding, I mean, it's wet, and I know that's good, but it's still really, I just don't know how when I dry that out, if it's gonna turn into lumps. I don't know if there's something I'm not doing right or what, but I think that's all the sifting I'm gonna do for now. I'm gonna put this stuff back in here and kind of let that continue to dry another day or so. And I'm not gonna let it dry too much. I know better than that, but it needs to dry some so that I can sift it. All right, so now I'm gonna move on and kind of maybe a few more shelves. Okay, I'm all done for today. I've got my trays put back in. You can see where I got my little shelving unit done. So I got room for 6. I did not have room for 2 more here. So I'll eventually build some on top and keep coming on up. I went ahead and put some of this layer crumble on. Let's see, this is, I think this is the ones with the babies in it. No, this is my breeder. I got an old sweet potato in there still. I put a little bit of that layer pellets on there and misted it with water to soften it. This is just empty. This is sifted dirt, but nothing's in there yet. Got this one dated for, what is that, August 31st. So this is some that are just growing out. Put some crumble on that. Sorry, I'm not videoing very well. But got bubble wrap on top, black plastic, and then they're all the same. 10-6. This is the one I just got the cocoons out of. There's a worm already up on the top. He's headed out. But as you can see, that's what I was talking about earlier. A lot of them got through, or some of them, but I don't care. That's fine with me. So August 6th, I think those will be ready to harvest cocoons. Same thing here. These are just kind of growing out. So if you got any tips or advice for me, I'd appreciate it on sifting, what mesh size you use, how you dry it out. Like I said, these are the ones that are still drying. What kind of feed or food you give them. My ultimate goal is to get enough worms where I can have a continuous flow bin, so I can start getting the castings off of them. But I'm really just kind of building up the worm herd probably for the rest of this summer, and then maybe be ready for next growing season. So anyway, I'd appreciate any tips or advice.